Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Thursday, March the 9th, 2023. I shall be reading to y'all the Gospel of John, chapter 9, verses 1 through 41, and Revelation of St. John, chapter 9, verses 1 through 21. I think it's 21. Let me check. Let me double check. Yes, it is 21. Anyways. Gospel of John, chapter 9. The man born blind. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from... As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither he nor his parents sinned. It is so that the works of God might be made visible through him. We have to do the works of the one who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had said this, he spat on the ground and made clay with the saliva and smeared the clay on his eyes and said to him, Go wash in the pool pool of Siloam, which means sent. Sent as in go forth, Sent. So he went and washed and came back able to see. His neighbors and those who had seen him earlier as a beggar said, Isn't this the one who used to sit and beg? Some said, It is, but others said, No, he just looks like him. He said, I am. So they said to him, So how were your eyes opened? He replied, The man called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and told me, Go to Siloam and wash. So I went there and washed and was able to see. And they said to him, Where is he? He said, I don't know. They brought the one who was once blind to the Pharisees. Now Jesus had made clay and opened his eyes on a Sabbath. So then the Pharisees also asked him how he was able to see. He said to them, He put clay on my eyes and I washed, and now I can see. So some of the Pharisees said, This man is not from God, because he does not keep the Sabbath. But others said, How can a sinful man do such signs? And there is a division among them. So they said to the blind man again, What do you have to say about him since he opened your eyes? He said, He is a prophet. Now the Jews did not believe that he had been blind and gained his sight until they summoned the parents of the one who had gained his sight. They asked them, Is this your son who you say was born blind? How does he now see? His parents then answered and said, We know that this is our son, and that he was born blind. We do not know how he sees now. I just lost my place. He sees them. Nor do we know who opened his eyes. Ask him. He is of age. He can speak for himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jews, for the Jews had already agreed that anyone acknowledged him as a Messiah, he would be expelled from the synagogue. For this reason, his parents said, He is of age, question him. So a second time they called the man who had been blind and said to him, Give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner. He replied, If he is a sinner, I do not know. One thing I do know is that I was blind, and now I see. So they said to him, What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? He answered them, I told you already, and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too? They ridiculed him and said, You are that man's disciple. We are the disciples of Moses. We know that God spoke to Moses, but we do not know where this one is from." The men answered and said to them, "This is what is so amazing, that we do not know where he is from. Yet he opened my eyes. We know that God does not listen to sinners. He listens, but if one is devout and does his will, he listens to him. It is unheard of that anyone ever opened the eyes of a person born blind. If this man were not from God, he would not be able to do anything." They answered and said to him, "You were born totally in sin, and are you trying to teach us?" Then they threw him out. When Jesus heard that they had thrown him out, he found him and said, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" He answered and said, "Who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" Jesus said to him, "You have seen him, and the one speaking with you is he." He said, "I do believe, Lord." And he worshipped him. Then Jesus said, "I came into this world for judgment, so that those who do not see might see, and those who do see might become blind." Some of the Pharisees who were with him heard this and said to him, "Surely we are not also blind, are we?" Jesus said to them, "If you were blind, you would have no sin. But now you're saying, 'We see,' so your sin remains." That was the Gospel of John, chapter 9, verses 1 through 41. Please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos as well and playlists. I have lots. I have hundreds. Actually, I think I have like 2 or maybe 3,000 to tell you the truth. I think that's the last count. But anyway, Revelation of St. John, chapter 9. The fifth trumpet. Then the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to the earth. It was given the key for the passage to the abyss. It opened the passage to the abyss, and smoke came up out of the passage like smoke from a huge furnace. The sun and the air were darkened by the smoke from the passage. Locusts came out of the smoke onto the land, and they were given the same power as scorpions of the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth, or any plant or any tree, but only those people who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were not allowed to kill them, but only to torment them for 5 months. The torment they inflicted was like that of a scorpion when it stings a person. During that time, these people will seek death but will not find it, and they will long to die, but death will escape them. The appearance of the locusts was like that of horses ready for battle. On their heads they wore what looked like crowns of gold. Their faces were like human faces, and they had hair like women's hair. Their teeth were like lions' teeth, and they had chests like iron breastplates. The sound of their wings was like the sound of many horse-drawn chariots racing into battle. They had tails like scorpions with stingers. With their tails, they had power to harm people for 5 months. They had as their king the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek, Apollyon. The first woe has passed, but there are 2 more to come. The sixth trumpet. Then the sixth angel blew his trumpet, and I heard a voice coming from the 4 horns of the gold altar before God, telling the 6th angel who held that trumpet, "Release the 4 angels who are bound at the banks of the great river Euphrates." So the 4 angels were released, who were prepared for this hour, day, month, and year to kill 1/3 of the human race. The number of cavalry troops was 200 million. I heard their number. Now, in my vision, this is how I saw the horses and their riders. They wore red, blue, and yellow breastplates, and their horses' heads were like heads of lions, and out of their mouths came fire, smoke, and sulphur. By these three plagues of fire, smoke, and sulphur that came out of their mouths, and a third of the human race was killed. For the power of the horses is in their mouths, and in their tails, for their tails are like snakes, with heads that inflict harm. The rest of the human race who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands, to give up the worship of demons and idols made from gold, silver, bronze, stone, and wood, which cannot see, or hear, or walk. Nor did they repent of their murders, their magic potions, their unchastity, or their robberies. That was the Revelation of St. John, chapter 9, verses 1 through 21. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. God bless, and see you in tomorrow's video.